Here are the top stories for today, November 11, 2019. Malacanang says Vice President Leni Robredo must be able to fulfill her role as anti-drugs co-chair without intervention from others. President Duterte is set to attend the ASEAN-Korea Commemorative Summit. The Army denies reports by the NPA of the ambush and killing of 5 soldiers in Quezon province. And thousands in Bulacan join a fun run in support of the cleanup of Manila Bay. Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, Malacanang is expecting Vice President Leni Robredo to have free reign as co-chairperson of the government's anti-illegal drugs body. That includes being able to perform her duties without her backers or detractors hounding her. Adrian Jericho with the story.
Malacanang has told Vice President Leni Robredo's backers to not intervene as she performs her duties as co-chair of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. In a statement, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said Robredo must be allowed to outline her own plan of action against the drug trade. Robredo set the tone for an evidence-based approach to the drug problem, which she said would prevent senseless killings in operations against drug personalities. Robredo was also open to a possible intervention of the United Nations Human Rights Council if the government fails to punish drug offenders. When asked if the Vice President's planned zero casualty on drug war is doable, Panelo said it will be up to her strategies. Panelo also assured the Duterte administration is transparent when it comes to its intensified crackdown on illegal drugs. Panelo made a statement amid concerns that Robredo may use the information in his drug campaign against the government. He notes that Robredo is willing to learn about the government's war on drugs, outside its negative notions based on what he called false information and media hype. He urged the public, especially those who are opposed to the government's campaign against illegal drugs, to refrain from creating roadblocks and imagined conflicts that may sow discord between Robredo and the ICAD members. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Adrian Jericho.
Malacanang expressed optimism that Congress will take the initiative to approve a measure that aims to prohibit the use of plastic products in the country. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo hopes lawmakers will support President Duterte's intent to ban the use of plastics in a bid to protect the environment and promote a greener Philippines. The president floated the idea of during the 43rd cabinet meeting at Malacanang Palace on Wednesday. While the government has yet to enact a nationwide ban, Panelo stressed the need for stricter implementation of Republic Act 9003 or the Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. In 2015, the Ocean Conservancy and McKinsey Center for Business and Environment named the Philippines as the 3rd biggest source of plastic in the oceans, following China and Indonesia. A report by the Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives in March 2019 revealed that Filipinos use nearly 48 million shopping bags daily, 16.5 billion smaller plastic bags yearly, and 60 billion sachets annually. The military has denied any involvement in the disappearance of Honey May Suazo, former Secretary General of Carapatan, Southern Mindanao region. Suazo was last seen on November 2 visiting her relatives' grave in Panabo City, Davao del Norte. The rights group linked the incident to the crackdown on activists and Suazo's past experience of harassment and alleged red tagging. Captain Jerry Lamosao, spokesperson of the 10th Infantry Division, said linking the military to Suazo's disappearance is another allegation that has been hurled by Carapatan against them. Lamosao challenged Carapatan to prove their allegation in court as a group. Suazo, who left Carapatan almost 2 years ago, previously complained of harassment and surveillance by alleged members of the military. The said charges had been dismissed by the Department of Justice in 2016. In other news, the Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, says overpopulation in Metro Manila is related to the ongoing water shortage in the region. PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar said he believes the water supply in Angat and La Mesa dams are no longer enough for Metro Manila. He said this is because Metro Manila's population as of May 2019 has exploded to over 13 million. He explained that the increasing demand for water in Metro Manila is aggravated by the lack of additional water sources as well as climate change and issues with water providers. Meantime, Andanar assured the government is working on solving the water crisis after having it discussed in last week's cabinet meeting. The NDRRMC reports over 53,000 families affected by the earthquakes in North Cotabato as help continues to pour in the area. More on this and other news around the metro from Benj Bondo.
The number of families affected by the magnitude 6.6 and 6.5 earthquakes that rattled Toluna, North Cotabato has now climbed to over 53,000, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. The number of fatalities are now 24, with 535 injured and 2 others still missing in northern Mindanao, Davao Region, Soxalgen, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Over 37,000 buildings were also damaged. Assistance extended to the affected families have so far amounted to 61.414 million pesos. Meanwhile, Malacanang expressed its deep condolences to the family of Tycoon John Gokongwei Jr., who passed away on Saturday night. The palace hailed Gokongwei as a visionary and pillar of the Philippine economy, along with his philanthropic contributions through the Gokongwei Brothers Foundation. Gokongwei Jr. is founder of the Gokongwei Group of Companies. He was the third wealthiest man in the country with a net worth of $5.3 billion as of 2019. In other news, the PNP said it is in its fine-tuning stage in its security preparations for the Southeast Asian Games. About 20,000 personnel will be in charge of security as well as crowd control and traffic. More than 10,000 athletes will participate in 50 sporting events at the SEA Games, which will be held from the last week of November to the first week of December. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondo.
Still to come, President Duterte is said to attend the ASEAN-Korea commemorative summit. The army denies reports by the NPA of the ambush and killing of 5 soldiers in Quezon province. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
One of the goals of the Philippine Development Plan is to reduce poverty incidence from 21.6% in 2015 to 14% by 2022. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's Executive Order No. 24 mandates the Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster and its member agencies to effectively deliver social services and poverty reduction strategies for the poor. Education as a central strategy. Making education the central strategy for investing in people, reducing poverty, and building national competitiveness. This strategy shall strengthen the capacity and probability of Filipinos to obtain jobs, increase and develop their knowledge about the society, and increase their capacities and skills for the 21st century. These will help in building and maintaining human capital development, especially among the poor. Advance and protect public health. By advancing and protecting public health, HDPRC shall ensure that the welfare of every family's health and well-being is taken care of through proper nutrition and family planning. Through this, there will be a continuing decrease in infant and maternal mortality rate, hunger, and malnutrition. The strategy also shall improve the condition of the elderly and persons with disability, and decrease the number of deaths due to non-communicable diseases like diabetes and heart disease. Enhance social protection. Through enhancing social protection, this strategy shall strengthen the partnerships of government agencies to ensure that the programs and services will help in addressing the basic needs of the underprivileged. This includes the provision of health insurance, adequate wage, livelihood assistance, cash transfers and subsidies, and immediate disaster response to improve the quality of life of the poor. Build capacities and opportunities. By building capacities and opportunities for the agriculture sector, this strategy shall provide adequate support to the agricultural workforce, including marginalized farmers, fisherfolk, and other sectors including women, to create opportunities that will benefit them. Through all these strategies, the government will be able to help the underprivileged Filipinos to escape the bounds of poverty towards a more decent way of life and overall development. Dahil sa Ambisyon 2040, ang buhay nating Pilipino ay matatag, maginhawa, at panatag.
President Duterte will join his fellow ASEAN leaders in a commemorative summit with South Korean President Moon Jae-in on November 25 to 27 in Busan, South Korea. On the sidelines of the summit, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the president will most likely hold a bilateral meeting with Moon. Manila said the two leaders' meeting will focus on issues of common concern, including Manila and Seoul's cooperation in trade and security sectors. The commemorative summit will be held in Busan to mark the 30th anniversary of the established relations between the ASEAN and South Korea. ASEAN and South Korea first established sectoral dialogue relations in November 1989. Filipino food manufacturers are participating in China's biggest buying expo to seek opportunities in the world's largest market. More than 30 Filipino companies have been showcasing their products during the second China International Import Expo at the National Exhibition and Convention Center here since November 5. The country's food pavilion focuses on promoting healthier and more organic products with the growing demand for health and wellness products in China. In his visit to Shanghai last Tuesday, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said the Philippines needs to ramp up its manufacturing capacity if enterprises would like to tap the Chinese market. He said while improving exports to China, the government targets to attract more investments from Chinese businesses to set up their production facilities in the country. The Philippine Army condemned the New People's Army or NPA for spreading false news that 5 soldiers were killed in an encounter in Quezon province. 2nd Infantry Division Commander Arnulfo Marcelo Burgos Jr. said the NPA's action is a reflection of its desperate attempt to gain relevance as well as to cover up its imminent downfall. He referred to a statement pertaining to the terrorists' ambush on some 50 soldiers and police officers in General Nacar's Barangay Lumutan on Friday noon. The General Nacar police station has denied the incident. Burgos, however, confirmed that government troops clashed with the NPA terrorists on Friday afternoon in Sitio Labno, Barangay Lumutan. Only the enemies were suspected to have incurred losses. 2 members of the New People's Army have surrendered to the Philippine Army last Friday. The 2 communist rebels turned themselves into the battalion in Sitio Dupinga, Barangay Malinaw, Gabaldon in Nueva Ecija. The 2 were members of the Platoon Uno of Kilusang Larangang Guerrilla, Sierra Madre, operating in Aurora and Nueva Ecija. The former rebels revealed they were lured to join with the NPA using black propaganda against the government. They surrendered after growing tired of their life in the mountains, saying they will never go back again to the NPA as they are only telling lies and sowing terror. The Albay provincial government plans to prune some 8,000 trees in preparation for stormy weather. Meanwhile, families in landslide-prone villages in Davao are told to evacuate. More on these and other news from the provinces from Lade Cabagani.
Some 8,000 trees along national and provincial roads in Albay are to be pruned in anticipation of stormy weather. Governor Francis Bichara ordered the creation of Task Force Pruning, a composite team to implement road obstruction clearing to prepare for the typhoon season this November and December. The teams have started to conduct survey, identify and mark trees to be trimmed in various road networks. The trimming operation is expected to be finished by the first week of December. Meanwhile, a collective group of civic organizations and individuals on Sunday prepared donation for transport to the earthquake victims in Davao and Cotabato provinces. The group called Team CDO has been calling for donation and help since the first week of November. They have collected at least 60 sacks of rice, 606-gallon water containers, 1,500 bottled water, 15 rolls of tarpaulin, 900 packs of assorted grocery items, medicines, dozens of used clothing, and rolls of ropes and GI wires. The CDO team will leave early morning of November 14. In Iloilo, the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council has approved a resolution extending 3 million pesos worth of aid to the victims of Mindanao earthquake. A total of 2 million pesos assistance will be extended to North Cotabato and 1 million pesos to Davao del Sur. Governor Arthur Defensor Jr. also called on residents to donate in kind to the quake-affected families. In Davao City, at least 41 families living in different suspected danger zones have been advised to evacuate due to the danger of landslides. A city government housing team validated that the ground structures in 5 areas of the city had become prone to landslides following the series of ground shakings the past weeks. The families in these areas are told to leave as government teams conduct preventive measures. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Laid Kabagani.
Up next, the Presidential Task Force on Media Security, or PTFOM, says it will be a matter of time until the arrest of the suspects in the killing of Dumaguete block timer Dean Generoso. Thousands in Bulacan joined a fun run in support of the cleanup of Manila Bay. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Sa pag-unlad ng turismo, umangat ang Pilipino. Mga may bahay, nagkahanap buhay. Tagahugas ng pinggan, naging gabay sa karagatan. Isang engineer, napaunlad ang sining ng buong barangay. At ang simpleng magsasagwan, malaki ang tulong sa kalikasan. Silang walang tinig, boses na ng kasaysayan. At ang specialty ni nanay, ngayoy pinipilahan. Ang best friend ng lahat, naging tour guide na. At ang daan-taong apo, naibida ang kulturang Pilipino. Lunti ang ilog, naging entablado. At katutubong sayaw, napaindak ang buong mundo. Ipagdiwang ang isang dekada ng Tourism Act. Kabuhayan sa turismo, pinauunlad ang bawat Pilipino.
The manhunt is continuing for 2 of 4 alleged suspects involved in the murder of Dumaguete broadcaster and block timer Dean Generoso. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security, or PTFOMS, on Sunday said Roger Rubio and Tomasino Aledro, the 2 other individuals accused in Generoso's killing, remain at large. Rubio, a police officer, is the alleged gunman, while Aledro is the supposed owner of the truck allegedly driven last Thursday, the day of the victim's murder. Cohorts Teddy Reyes Salao and Glenn Corsame were arrested nearly 10 hours after Generoso was shot to death. PTFOM's co-chairperson, Undersecretary Joel Egco, said the task force is optimistic that it is only a matter of time before they are caught. The Philippine National Police on Friday filed murder charges against the 4 suspects. PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar, co-chair of the PTFOMS, welcomed the filing of the murder case against the 4 accused. He said the impunity is already a thing of the past with the investigations and the filing of charges against suspects in the murder of journalists. The Chinese Consul General who led the distribution of relief goods in Digos City on Friday went back to Davao del Sur to hand over his country's assistance to earthquake victims in 3 towns. Consul General Li Lin went to Barangay Dolo in Bansalan, Davao del Sur to personally hand over packs of relief goods to some 1,700 families still staying in evacuation areas. Lin said in a span of 2 days, they were able to deliver at least 8,000 food packs. Lin said the money used to purchase the food packs came from 4 Chinese companies channeled to the consulate office in Davao City. Lin was joined by Dumper Party Representative Claudine Diane Bautista and Kiblawan Town Mayor Jason Rama, who also brought food packs for the victims. The Chinese community in Davao City also sent tankers loaded with potable water. The Philippine tourism industry has sustained its growth as inbound visitor counts surpassed the 6 million mark by the end of September. The Tourism Department reports that the Philippines received about 6.1 million visitors from January to September, indicating a 14% increase from last year. About 600,000 visitors were recorded in September, which is considered a lean month. South Korea still topped the list of arrivals, followed by China and the U.S. Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo-Puyat said more tourists are visiting the country in light of the accolades received by the Philippines and its destinations throughout the year. She adds, they are spurred further to work hard by seeing more Filipinos revel in the positive impacts of genuine, sustainable tourism. Government officials as well as ordinary folks showed their cooperation and support for the rehabilitation of Manila Bay by participating in the Takbo para sa Kalikasan 2 run held on Sunday at the Bulacan Sports Complex in Malolos City. The 3K U-Turn Fun Run commenced at 4 a.m. at the Bulacan Sports Complex and ended at the Manila North Road in Barangay San Pablo. The 5K U-Turn Run, on the other hand, ended in Barangay Tikay Elementary School, while the 10K U-Turn Run ended in front of the Bulacan Polytechnic College. The run was organized by the Department of Interior and Local Government in cooperation with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Provincial Government of Bulacan, and other agencies. The DILG has encouraged the public to be serious and support the cleanup of Manila Bay. Local officials and residents in Tacloban City held a solemn ceremony in memory of the victims of Super Typhoon Yolanda, or Haiyan, which struck 6 years ago. A groundbreaking ceremony was also held for a housing project of the Yolanda survivors. Sol Alarcon with the story.
November 8 marks the 6th year anniversary of Super Typhoon Yolanda that hit eastern Visayas, with Tacloban City as the ground zero. Mixed emotions were felt by those who experienced the wrath of one of the strongest typhoons ever recorded. Various activities were held during the commemoration day. As early as Thursday evening, a mass was offered to Yolanda victims at the Shipwreck Memorial MV Jocelyn, one of the ships that ran aground due to storm surges when the strong typhoon struck. The mass was followed by the lighting of candles led by Tacloban Mayor Alfredo Romualdez, together with the families and relatives of those who perished during the onslaught. Mayor Romualdez also led a commemorative ceremony at Tacloban City Convention Center. He was joined in by some national and local officials such as Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles, PHCC Chairman Dante Jimenez, Yusek Ricardo Halad, Congressman Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, and other representatives of various agencies. One of the highlights was the inauguration of a water system for Tacloban North District residents where Yolanda survivors were relocated. Prior to this, Senator Bongo took part in a groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of housing project for Yolanda survivors in Barangay Maribi, Tanawan, Leyte. He also visited the fire victims in the city of Tacloban. For the PNA Newsroom, Sol Alarcon, Philippine Information Agency, Tacloban.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Malacanang says Vice President Leni Robredo must be able to fulfill her role as anti-drugs co-chair without intervention from others. President Duterte is set to attend the ASEAN-Korea Commemorative Summit. The Army denies reports by the NPA of the ambush and killing of 5 soldiers in Quezon province. And thousands in Bulacan join a fun run in support of the cleanup of Manila Bay. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, visit our website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. We are showing on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Rom Dulfo. Good day.